Hey Ben, just shooting you a video in the event that you guys wanted to create a new campaign with a new lead form, because the current ones that are all set up are on the current lead form. So if you launch a new campaign with new lead forms, you're going to have to go through this process again. So I've set up these three zaps here. So for each of these three different types of lead forms. So if you go down to an ads level on all your campaigns, you'll notice that there are 1, 2, 3 lead forms. So I've set up the 3 separate zaps to connect the 3 lead forms into this one list. Now, if you create a new campaign and create a new lead form, you're going to have to do this process again. So the easiest way would be to just copy one. So for example, go this one, the Newcastle FHB copy. Now, what you want to do, it's pretty straightforward. All the steps are pretty self-explanatory. So you just walk through the process. So obviously, new lead form, new contact on that lead form. This is your account. So that's your ads account there. So the page obviously is Property Finance Australia. You might run stuff from anywhere. So just choose whichever page is relevant, and then that lead form. So I'd suggest here as well with your lead forms, start to use a bit more of a clear naming convention, just so to avoid any mistakes or any confusion. But just using one of these as an example. So let's say this is a brand new lead form. I've created this ad. I've created a new lead form. So then I search through here. So the one that has copy, that's what I've got selected. So I will go in and choose that. Go continue. So test successful. You should all get green lights on there. Cool. And then you'll go through and have to integrate that into your active campaign. Now the active campaign is already all set up, so it's pretty easy to do. So click through to active campaign. You want to create or update a new contact. So your active campaign is already on connected to your Zapier, so that's all good. Just test it just to make sure. Now when you're in here, so say you create a new list in your active campaign, so you might want to, I don't know, whatever campaign it might be. I'd suggest also splitting them out by campaign, so you can, like I mentioned to you, Ben, just enroll them into different workflows, because you're probably going to have different workflows depending on the campaign, depending on the target that you've got. So when you create different lists, contact lists in active campaign, they should all populate in here. So just select what list you want, and then when you select or create the list, you'll also be asked what fields you want to include on that list. So just match up whatever fields you have on this list with what's on your lead form. So your new lead form, so I don't know, maybe this lead form might have, or another one might have a postcode or a city or a suburb or something like that. So whatever it is, make sure that the fields are matched up with your new list. And then once you've got the fields on your list, they should match up with the fields that you've got on your lead form. So obviously email address is going to be email, full name, phone number, etc. So if you have a city or a suburb or whatever it might be, so the city or suburb should populate and get pulled into here from your new lead form or from that lead form. So you just match up the correlating data and fields. And then you should also get a green light, which is good news. Finish, and then you just switch this up on. So that's basically how you'll set up a new campaign and can connect it into your campaign monitor. Sorry, no, active campaign. Now with the automations, I ran through this with you over the phone, Ben, but just to get you something visual, you want to always have a trigger. So before, the reason why it wasn't firing was there was no trigger. So there always needs to be a trigger. So that's going to be what is going to actually automatically enroll people in to your workflow. So here's an option of all different types of triggers you can use. And the most simple one would either be someone unsubscribing from a list or someone subscribing to a list. So subscribes to a list. So because we've got the Zapier automatically updating this list for us every time a lead form comes in. So anyone who hits that list, we want them to go through this workflow. So obviously you will want someone to, when someone subscribes to the list. So I've set that up so you can select your list from here. So anyone who hits this list, or you can choose any list or however you want. So that may have been why they weren't working, and always make sure that this is ticked up here because it wasn't inactive, so make sure it's always active, and then that should be it. Now for SMS functions, you will need to go get a pro or a paid account with ActiveCampaign. I'm not so sure about the workflow. I don't think it does work on the free one, but I would suggest buying, it's only $20 a month, I think, so I'd suggest just paying for the ActiveCampaign, because you don't want to turn the campaigns back on and then the workflow is not actually work because you're in the free version. So just explore that as well, and also with the SMS, when you guys are ready to set that up and want to get those starting to go out with the workflows, let me know, and that's another thing that we can work on. But hopefully that clears up anything and any questions you guys might have, but if you have any more, give me a shout. Thanks.